book besties, it's Dano, and welcome to this very exciting video of setting up my 2026 reading journal. I cannot believe it is that time of year that we are setting up the journal. So firstly, I'm just going through what sort of products I'm using. I got these sets from Paper Monetary. I hope that's how you pronounce it. I got the Academia set, and then I also got the Academia washi tape set from the washi tape shop. This roll in particular came from Paper Monetary. It's beautiful. It's all pre-cut, and uh, throughout the year, as I'm sort of seeing fit, I do want to go back in and fill in spaces with some of it. So as you can tell, kind of going for a dark academia vibe for my start of journal spreads. So just different things playing with it. And that set, that washi tape was from Journal Say. Same with this one. They're both from Journal Say. So a few different places. And then I've also got my trusty Tombos. I can't for the life of me remember the colors I'm using. I will leave it all down below. Everything will be in the description of what I have used, or at least as much as I can. And of course, the trusty other things that you need, like glue and a cutter, like a corner cutter and a ruler, and then my pens that I've been using. So I've been really enjoying the Uni 0.1 size pen. That's what I write with. And then, of course, this beautiful Archer and Olive notebook. It is a B5. That is my preferred size, and obviously in a dot grid. So the first thing that I'm going to do in this notebook is I'm going to stick that first page together. In previous notebooks, I have created a pocket out of this one, but in my reading journal last year, I just stuck it down, and that's what I'm doing again this year. I don't know, maybe I'll go back to a pocket in future because I never use the back of the notebook pocket because I always forget that it's there. But anyway, yes, I'm struggling big time with this glue tape. Uh, but I don't know about you guys, but I've been loving watching everyone else's journal setups, and I've been looking forward to doing my own. This was a massive process. I think it took me like 4 and a bit hours to do the actual setup. That's not including planning time. So yes, lots and lots of time. And I'm now ready to get started with it. So the first page that I'm going to set up is my year in pixels page that also includes my star rating system, and then also my 2026 intentions slash goals page. So on the left hand side is where I'm going to have my year in pixels, and then on the right is where I'm going to put my intentions. This page for this year in 2025, the year in pixels, I'm going to be honest, I didn't do so well. I started January great, and that's because I was doing the Storygraph daily check-in, and I stuck with that. So I had all the data ready to go to put into my reading journal, and then there wasn't a challenge in Storygraph for February. So I started to fall behind and then started losing track. So my goal for this year is to keep on top of it and hopefully stick with it. I would love to have a completed view, and we're going to see. I'm giving myself this 1 year to see if I stick with it. If I don't, it's not going to be in my journal for 2027 because that will be the second year that I haven't stuck with it. So if I'm not using it, why take the space in my reading journal? I'd rather put something in there that is useful. But when I see other people doing these, I really do love the look of them. So I don't know. I'm in two minds about it. I'll see how I go. But it does take a long time to set up. So what I'm currently doing is I'm currently drawing all the columns for the months, and then down the side I've got 31 rows one for every day of the month, essentially, and then I just will eventually go back and black out the months that don't have 31, although I don't think I actually do that on camera, and I don't think I've actually done that yet. So I need to go into my journal and do that. And then eventually you'll see me drawing some diagonals. So this is because I both read physically slash digitally as well as listen to audiobooks. So half of the day will show how much I either digitally or physically read, and then the other half will show how much I listened to. So it will either have a different color full in top triangle and then a circle under it, and they may be in two different colors because of that's what they respond with. And then on top of that, if I finish a book within that day, I will then put a black dot in the middle of it so that will indicate that I completed a book on that day. So I love the look of these. Highly recommend. I got the idea from Monica at Bibliophile of Night, I think is her Instagram. I'll leave her down below. Her reading journal is absolutely phenomenal, and I highly recommend you watching her progress with it. And she does monthly updates with her reading journal, and it just looks amazing, and she inspires me. So I want to do better this year, and I want my journal to look like, you know, not look like hers, but get inspo from her. So I'm now going in with my headers. I did pre-make these, so I used my Cricut program and printed all these on washi tape and then went in with my Cricut to cut them. You will see coming up in future bits that there are headers that I'm missing and things that I'm missing. I somewhat purposely did this. I was trying to fit as much as I could onto the sheets that I was using, and it wasn't going to completely fit. So I did leave some things off, knowing full well that I would forget other things. So that I wasn't going to waste a sheet by only printing off half the amount that I need, like half the sheet, and then not being able to use the rest. I'm like, no, I'll save it, because knowing me, I've forgotten something, and then I can go back in and add them to when I want to print the rest. So good job me for knowing that I would do that, because that is 100% what happened. But I do have these. So just going in with a little key down the bottom and then putting in my star ratings on the side. I will eventually go in and write in what I want all those stars to sort of represent in my mind. I haven't really properly formulated. Last year I put in the core pile system, and I only got a couple of months into using that system and realized it wasn't for me. I am definitely more of the vibes sort of star rater rather than trying to analyze everything, because I don't give everything the same weight, and I think I would have to give like enjoyment and plot a 10 and the others a 5, and that just gets way too complicated with maths. So I'm just going back to this is how it makes me feel vibes rating system. So we finally finished off that page, and now going in with my intentions. I'm so sorry that you can't see that I'm putting washi tape down the bottom. Well, you can kind of see it. It gets worse as the filming of this goes on, because I didn't realize how out of sync I was. I was filming this on my phone, and for some weird reason, my phone, when filming top down, like it flips the view. It's so annoying. I next time need to set it up from the other angle so it doesn't flip it, so that I notice when I'm out, because it was so difficult trying to work out what's up, what's down. But anyway, that is this page completed, and it took me 26 minutes and a little bit to do all of that. So yeah, lots of time. But now we're moving on to my 2026 reads page. So for this, I am going in and creating a Dutch door style. So I'm cutting down the next 2 pages so that I have a few pages of spots for reads, essentially. I've really enjoyed this view in my 2025 reading journal. I've been putting in the book covers and then putting on the star rating that I gave each book. And it's a nice view of all the books that I've read within that year. And so I'm enjoying it and I'm doing it again, but this time I'm giving myself some extra space. I am also adding to the design element of it, I guess, by adding the little waterfall aspect of the Dutch door rather than just having it all as pages. I created a waterfall tab sort of situation so that I can easily flip between them all. And then going in with some washi tape to start decorating. So I am going to layer up the top. I sort of went into 2 minds about my theme for this year. I wanted to have a dark academia sort of theme, but I don't know if I'd fully call it dark academia anymore. It's sort of a bit more flowery and musical, but that's okay. I like it. It feels cohesive anyway. And to me, that's what matters. I want it to be an enjoyable place to be and get the most out of it and seeing what works together. So I'm just playing around with different washi tapes here, trying to layer and see what works best. So decided to go with the darker and then the lighter pinks just to help break it up a little bit so it wasn't all so dark. And yes, it is not easy trying to do all this, but I had fun. And then I'm going to go down the side with washi as well so that you can see each of the different tabs. And for this, I am going to do the front and the back just so that there's a bit of visual interest on the back of the tabs as well when you're looking at it from the other side. I'm so sorry about my head. It does make appearance a few times throughout this video, so you'll be seeing a lot more of it. I apologize, but it's really hard to see what's happening and getting nice and close while dealing with the camera above you. I was trying to be good, but at some spots I couldn't help it. My head is where it is. So going in with some washi on the other side, I really do like the tape and sets from the washi tape shop. I just wish they did more cohesive sets together. Like they do a lot of sets where it's like 2 or so. Last year I used the Alice in Wonderland set and I absolutely loved it. And that's where I sort of got the inspo for this theme is the academia set. So hopefully next year they come out with something similar, I guess. Here's me just trying to get the edges to cut and they weren't cutting properly. But I like having that rounded corner on them. It just makes it feel like a more completed page, I guess. And then going in with my headers. I am then also going to go in with my marker, which is what takes the longest amount of time for this page, and just draw in all the boxes where the books go. So if you've seen my previous Vlogmas or Bookmas videos, I have recently done one for my goals and intentions for 2026. And I mentioned in there that my reading goal is 125, but my stretch goal is 150. So I have got enough boxes in here for 150. Here's hoping I can reach that. Otherwise, I will be using all but one page out of what I've done, unless I go across, which I probably will just because aesthetically that would look better when it's like rather than leaving a whole page empty. If I just go across, it will just leave 25 or so down the bottom, but we'll see. This was a very tedious task of doing it, and last year I completely stuffed up one of the pages and had lines where there shouldn't have been lines. So I was trying so hard this year to get it all correct. And then I forgot that I had allowed for 2 spots in between each box when you go up. So there is a little stuff up. However, because I'm using a lighter color pen this time, it's not as noticeable. Thank goodness. Even when I'm looking at my journal in person, it doesn't look as noticeable, and it will be covered as soon as the book covers get placed on top. So small wins. The other thing I did have difficulty with and had to make sure I planned out was the spacing because of those waterfall tabs. I wanted to make sure that I could fit 25 on each page, and I had to sort of squish that in on the smaller pages, and then as I got further out, I could make it a little bit bigger or not have it close to the middle. But I do really like how this all turned out. It just took a very, very long time. So these pages all together took me 35 minutes and 44 seconds if you really want to know the details. But yes, it definitely took me a long time to set up, but well worth it. And now that I've broken the ice with the reading journal, I am flipping back to that front cover page and going in and doing my title page. So for this, I wanted to cover up the Archer and Olive stuff by putting this piece of paper that came in the Paper Monetary set. So I'm just cutting the corners to give them a rounded look, and then going in with some glue tape to stick this down, trying to center it as much as I can, almost putting it down upside down, which would have driven me insane. So thankfully I caught myself before I stuck it down. And then I go in with my header, not quite putting that on straight, and it only gets worse from there, but that's okay. I definitely enjoyed having these done as stickers rather than trying to hand do them like I did last year. This is just how I'm going to do things from now on, although the journal definitely came out very wonky and I couldn't really fix it. And then going down with this woman that was also in the Paper Monetary set and going in with some other decorations, because who doesn't love a, little chandelier? And that's my cover page. So that took me 4 minutes to set up. And now we're moving on to my books in color page. For this one, I've seen other people do it, and previously I've had a bookshelf here, and I was debating whether or not to do a bookshelf again, but it didn't really mean that much to me being on a bookshelf. It just, it looks cool. So I wanted to do something a little bit different, and I've been enjoying watching other people sort of fill out the different boxes for what they wanted to track. The only thing I haven't decided with is if I'm going to split the boxes up to then have different corners represent different things, or if I just fill it in for one thing that I'm tracking. So I haven't put a key on it yet. I've left it all blank and to be determined, as well as I didn't really plan this one through well enough because I only had space for 80 boxes. So even if I read my goal of 125, I'm going to have to add a tip in at some point in this. So I tried to pre-plan this as much as possible, but then because I was watching other reading journals between the time of planning and actually setting it up, I was getting inundated with other ideas and yeah. Anyway, hindsight, but that's okay. We live and learn. I'm still going to enjoy using this page. And it's just, if I do enjoy it for next year, well, 2027, then I might do a few more of these pages and I will just have to ensure that I have enough boxes on the page to cover everything I read, or make the boxes a little bit bigger and take up 2 pages and then do the cross sections so that I can depict a few different things within that one box. I think it's Shell, and is it Shell of Books, or I will look up her actual Insta. She is the main one that I saw doing the cross section representing a whole different I think one was like genre, one was page length, one might have been star rating. I don't know what the fourth one was, but it might have been how she was reading it. That might have been it. And it looks cool. I like the idea of it. So I'll see how I go, and if that's how I decide to do it. I, for some reason, only did the first, like the bottom half of the page, and then I flipped it around and did the other half. I don't know, it might have been because of the ruler size, or I'm sure I had a reason at the time for doing this, but this was painstaking going through and drawing just lines after lines after lines. And yes, it was painstakingly long by the fact that it almost took me 20 minutes to complete this entire page. And really, it's a strip of washi and boxes. That is all this page is. But it still managed to take me quite a while to do. And then trying to count to see how many I'm up to. And now that I've flipped that book over, I can keep going and sort of try and fit in as many as I can. This is where I realized that I wasn't going to fit all 125 in, so I was just sort of going up as far as I could that it wouldn't look too weird, with giving the header some space as well. I don't know. I probably could have gotten an extra line if I put the header down the side. I guess it's not too late that I could go in and do that and just move the header. Something I might consider, because that would definitely, I think it's 9 across, so I could probably get at least another 18. So it'd somewhat get me up to 100, but really that's still 25 short. I'm still going to need a tip in, so what's the point? I may as well just do a tip in. And I also need to do a tip in for a key as well. So I still haven't done that. I haven't added that in yet. I need to do that, but I was sort of waiting to see what spare paper I had left over to do that. And at some point before the year starts, I need to make sure I go back. And then I just do the outer 2 things in the title just to get the spacing somewhat okay. And then go and clean up the pages. And then this is sort of where I have to take a break from filming just because I had to go and teach classes. So you will see in a quick moment that the lighting definitely changes. So yes, different time of day, but now I'm back at it and I'm going in with my books bought and my TBR takedown sort of tracker, and just going in with a bit of this paper to sort of give it a bit of effect. But then I decided that I should probably be smart about it and draw my bookcase in first, just to work out the sizing of the paper and ensure I've got enough space. Because yes, sometimes I do think ahead. So for this bookshelf, it's where I'm going to put a little book for every book that I acquire through the year of 2026. So it's not necessarily the books that I've bought, but any that come into my possession, I want to keep track of them and then make sure that I'm reading them. I also have a goal that I want to read as many backlists as what I acquire. So I need to make note of this. And my thoughts are that I will write on the book what the book is that I get, and then I will go in and fill it in either with one color that will indicate that it was a book that I've previously read and then just bought, and then it will be a different color if I read it within 2026. So that's my thoughts for how I'm going to track that. But just going in and tidying up the edges at the moment, and then I'm going to go down to the bottom bit and put in my TBR takedown. So for my TBR takedown, I plan on going through all the books that are currently on my shelves, and as I'm boxing them up, I'm going to take note of how many of them I have not read. That is my starting amount, and it'd be nice to say that I will get to 0 by the end of 2026, but I'm telling you now, it's not possible. It's actually not possible. But I do want to start critically looking at what books I've got on my shelves, because there's a few on there that I've acquired that honestly I'm never going to read. They're not my genre. I've just got them because I was given them or some other way. Like I ended up with all of my ex's books for some reason, and I'm not really planning on reading them, so I don't know why I'm keeping them on my shelves, aside from the fact that I currently have room and don't have to think about it. But that's not going to be the case for next year, so I need to be a bit more strategic about what is on my shelves and what is on display. So I'm going to go through them, count how many I want to keep on there, and working my way down. So I'm now just going in with a little bit of colour and mixing it up using some pink, because this theme does have a little bit of pink in it, so I want to tie that in there a little bit. And then just going in with the headers for books bought and TBR takedown. I do eventually come back and put in the months and everything for that TBR takedown. I just do it off camera. So the columns for it are the starting amount, the amount that I've bought and bought into my collection, the amount that I've read, my finished amount, and the difference. So all in all, that page took me 13 minutes, almost 14 minutes to set up. And now I'm moving on to my 5-star reads, and a new one for my 2026 journal is going to be a trope bingo board. So you'll see I don't have that much planned for my trope bingo board as yet. I do eventually need to go and think about some tropes that I want to add on there. But for now, I'm just setting up the square. So firstly, putting down some washi tape, just trying to be a bit creative and do some layering with it. And I struggle so hard with putting down washi tape and getting it to be sort of nice and straight on the page. It is so hard. And then going in and drawing my boxes for my 5-star reads. And this is where I put in a cover of all the books that I give 5-star ratings for. I think there's enough spots for 30 on here. 30 or 25. I can't remember how many I end up doing. I don't see myself going over that. It'd be nice if I did, and I would just add a tip in if I did, but I think it's a good number. Hopefully out of 125 books, I do have quite a few that are 5-star reads, and I'm looking forward to displaying each and every one of them. But I definitely get sick of drawing these little boxes, and I love that the fact that they're very light, that you can't really see where the box is, so that as you put the cover over it, it blends in, but it's not really much for you guys to look at, I guess. So sorry about that. And then moving on to the bingo board. For this, I'm doing a 6x6 square just to give myself a little bit of a challenge. But I just haven't decided what I want to do. And also, this was a later addition to my thoughts on the thing, so you will notice that I don't put down a header because I haven't created it yet. So I need to go in with the other bits that I'm missing and do this header as well. So for now, it's just drawing out the boxes. But if you have any suggestions for what I should put down in my trope bingo, please give me trope bingo. Please write them in the comments because I definitely need some help filling out all of these boxes. It's a lot of tropes to be trying to think of. And more importantly, I'm going to have to try and remember to take note of them because I'm pretty bad at doing that when I'm reading. I'm like, oh yeah, that was a one bed scene, and then I don't actually do anything with it. So I hopefully will use this to help motivate me to do it. But all in all, this setup took me 11 minutes and, well, 11 and a half minutes really. And now we are moving into the book battle and book matrix setup. So I know everyone talks about the book battle a lot, of how it doesn't really reflect the, well, it gives you your top book of the year, but it doesn't really show like the rest of the books and how they rank. So that's why I like doing both. I like the visual look of the book battle, and that's why I have kept it for next year, because I just like having each of the book covers there and then seeing who wins out of the two of them. It's fun, but the Matrix definitely does give a better indication of the rankings of the books. So I'm currently going in and drawing the boxes of where the book covers go for the book battle. I'll then go in and draw all the connecting lines. But I also want to make the space for the winner a little bit bigger, so I had to work out the calculations for that. Okay, so now I'm going in and drawing those connecting lines. This bit stresses me out so badly because I don't want to stuff up what gets connected to what. So I was trying to focus really hard and make sure that the lines I was drawing was correct. I was copying my this year's reading journal just to make sure that my lines were correct with it all. So I think I managed to do it. I'm pretty sure I didn't stuff it up. It just looks weird because you can't really see the boxes, but once you can see it all, it definitely looks better. Okay, so then that is done, and then I go in and do the matrix. I did stuff up a little bit with the matrix of I put the book title numbers in a really weird spot. When I look back at it, I wish I had moved them over and up a bit, but that's okay. That's a future me problem to deal with, and then lessons for next time. Just take my time a little bit more before I go and create these and ensure that I'm doing it exactly how I want to all look. But it's fine. Really, it's no big deal. It looks a little bit weird. Anyway, so drawing in all the boxes and then going in with the numbers to show the matrix, really. Sorry about my head once again. It's there and it was clearly having a frizzy day. So this is where I put in the numbers. So I just wish I moved it over a bit more because it looks squished. But that's okay. Anyway, putting in the headers for these and then I can move on. This entire spread took me 17 minutes to set up, so it wasn't too bad. Really, it was just lots of boxes, lots and lots of boxes, but that's okay. So, yeah. And then I finally go in and decorate it. So for this one, I decided to make sure that I had enough room with all the matrix and everything, that I want to put the washi tape in afterwards, because that's also a lesson that I have previously learned is I've gone and put all the washi tape down and not given myself enough space for the information. So for these ones where I need a specific amount of space, I have been trying to do the washi last, but this is where I notice how tight that key space is for the matrix and wish I had moved it over a bit because that's not a whole lot of room for a title. That's okay. I have small handwriting. It's going to be fine. Okay, just cleaning up the page a little bit before we move on. Cleaning up the top and punching those corners. Sometimes I'm good about doing this as I go, and then other times I'm just not. But next we are moving on to my stats page. So for this one, I really haven't decided how I want to track my stats or what I want it to look like. So instead of setting up something that I don't use, I have literally just gone and put some washi down, like the header down, and that's it. And I'm still having a look at, or like on Pinterest and other people's ideas in their journals of how I want to track my stats, what stats I actually want to track. So as I said, I don't want to put down something and then just not use it. So I'd rather wait, and really I have a whole nother month before I need to put in at least my starting info. So it's okay. I've got time to think of how I want to do my stats page. So because this was a nice, easy setup, it only took me 5 minutes to do. Really, a lot of that was just fluffing around with the washi tape, trying to get it somewhat straight, and then finding the headers for each of the pages. It was one thing I did struggle with because the way that Cricut designs it and puts it on the page to make it fit best, I did have to go looking for each of my headers on the pages, but that's fine. Just adds a little bit of fun to your setup. And then flipping over. So the next thing that we're going to set up is my author backlist setup. This one, I love how it turned out. However, because in the past I didn't do the waterfall tabs, I didn't realize that I would then be losing an entire column on each of those pages because of just spacing and everything. So I didn't think this one through enough, and therefore I wish I had done an extra page just to have all of the authors that I wanted to put down on here. But then at the same time, the authors that I've got on here, realistically, I'm not going to read all of them and all of their books. I love the idea of it. I love the way that this layout looks, but that would consume all of my reading if I just did that. So while you don't see me putting the author names down on here, I'm just purely doing the setup. The authors that I have included so far on these lists are Rick Riordan, Sarah J. Maas, Hannah Grace, Gail Carriger, Carissa Broadbent, Victoria Orvie Schwab, Lee Bardugo, Al Kennedy, S.T. Gibson, Kerry Maniscalco, Elise Cover, Mary E. Pearson, Frederick Backman, L.J. Andrews, Emily Henry, Helen Schurer, and who am I missing? I'm missing someone because I haven't printed their name off yet. Oh no. Ellie Hazelwood. I knew there was one again that I left off, and it's because I had reprinted everything I used last year, and Ali was a late addition to my list, so she wasn't in that initial grouping that I did. So when I copied it, obviously she wasn't there, and now I've realized. But with all of those, I only really have room for one more author, and then I hope they don't have an extensive backlist because I don't have that much room. Although, in saying that, I think next year things like I probably won't include Rick Riordan. Like I really do want to read the Percy Jackson series, and that's a goal for 2026. But once I sort of get into that, then I don't really mind as much. Plus, he is on my 35 before 35 series. So I am tracking reading his books in other places. So we'll see. We'll see what 2027 brings. But hopefully, like a lot of these authors I've read in 2025, and that's why they're now included on my list. And hopefully in 2026, I have just as good time reading that I have a heap more authors that I want to read everything by them. So we'll see. But all in all, this took me 13 minutes to set up. Obviously, it took a bit longer by the time I added in all the authors and started writing out their backlist. I did not track all that. I was just doing that as I was watching TV one night. So sorry, I don't have those details, but this was enough. And then this is where I didn't realize that I had moved the planner down so low that you really can't see anything that I do on the bottom rows. So I'm currently going in and creating my series tracker and putting some washi tape down the bottom. Now, a couple of things with this. I kind of forgot how many series I had started in 2025. So now that I've gone in and just put in the ones that I've already got on the works, I've almost got this double page spread full, and I really should have done another Dutch door for this one and given myself more room because I am going to have to put in a tip in. Also, I didn't realize I spelt tracker wrong. So there's another header that I have to go and redo. So that was a quick one, only taking me 3 minutes to set up. And now I'm moving on to my 2026 readathons and book clubs that I want to be a part of. So this is just a spot where I can sort of track readathons that I hear about. Not necessarily that I want to participate in them all, but so I can track sort of what book I'm reading. If it's a year-long one, I can track what I'm reading in there. Again, Monica from the Bibliophile of Night does a really cool layout for this one that I'm wanting to take inspiration from, so I'll see how I go with that. And yeah, check out the description. Like, you need to see her journals. I love them. Can't praise her enough for how much time and effort she puts into her reading journals. So for this, I've just put a little washi tape down for the header of the 2026 readathons and down at the bottom for the book clubs. And firstly, I'm going in and doing the book club page for some reason, starting on the right. But for this, I am putting in a little box that I will put the book cover for each of the books each month in, and then just put a little header for the months. So for this one, I just did the shortened version of the months just so it would fit better and put them on the side, and then have the header for my book club down below. So this is a local in-person book club that I'm a part of with a whole bunch of friends, and I enjoy going down and seeing them once a month. And yeah, we get to hang out. We talk briefly about the book, but end up just talking about life, and it's good fun. Like, we've all got the common interest of reading, but really, I don't think we really spend that much time talking about the books, let's be honest. Anyway, so just going in with each of the months, and I don't do this in any particular order. It's how I find the months on each of the pages. It's the order that I put them down in, and just going Jan to June and then July to December down the path, so that as months go by, the books will show what we read for that month. And then I do have space for another book club if I do join another one at some point next year. I currently don't have any plans. I wouldn't mind having my own at some point online, but I don't know when that would be and when that would start. So if you're interested in that, let me know. There's space there for it. Yeah, I'm leaving it open. And then moving on to creating all the boxes for the 2026 readathons. So for this, I firstly just go in and sort of create the outlines of where the boxes are going to be, and then I go in, put the headers down, and then I connect the top row a little bit more just to fill it in. I haven't decided if I want to go in and completely fill in the edges of the boxes at the moment. I haven't. I've just left them, and yes, sorry about my hair. I really need to put some like deep freezing stuff in that. Like that is out of control. All the things you notice when you're voicing over a top-down video, right? This is normal. Sorry for my rambling. My thoughts on this page is to sort of break these boxes up into halves. So the bottom half being readathons that I'm participating in, and then the top half being the books that I read for year-long readathons. That's what I've seen in the past, and I like the look of, so that's probably what I'm going to do. I haven't quite decided on that yet, and I do have this set up in my 2025 journal. I was just really bad about going back and looking at it, so it's going to be something that I want to do as part of my monthly wrap-up, is go in and fill this in. So again, going in with the headers for each of the months as I find them, and just making sure that I put them down in the correct spot, because that's a pain when you stuff that up and have to very, very carefully peel it up. So going in nice and carefully with each of them, somewhat managing to find them in an order, I guess. But yes, I do really like these headers. I like that it's consistent font throughout my entire journal. So this is the font that I'll be using all year for all of my headers, and I just like that consistency. I do really love the look of other people when they mix it up every month, but I don't know. I'm just happy with this font. So for now, that's what I'm doing. And then just going in with the little lines on the top to draw it all in and connect it. And then this is what I mean by, I think I might go in and at least put the bottom line as a complete line just to match the top bit, how it looks full, but I haven't decided yet. Anyway, that took me 22 minutes to set up. So now I'm moving on to my 26 in 2026 books, and there is a video coming up on those books and me picking them, so stay tuned for that. And once I have that video out, I'm going to go in and I haven't decided if I want to put the book covers in. For this year I did put the book covers in, but then I questioned two of them about whether I should read the novella first and if that would count as my 25 in 2025. But I don't think that's an issue with any of the books I've selected for this year. So I haven't decided yet if I want to just put in the title and put the cover in as I get to that book, or if I want to have the books already there and just put the star rating when I get to it. To be decided within the next, like, 25 days. Anyway, going in with some washi tape. I'm really liking this just text washi. I think it just adds a little nice element to it, and the text on it is so small that you're not sitting there trying to read what it says, because it doesn't make sense at all. And then I just like the flow of it going across the two pages, even though they're two separate spreads. So that's it for that one side. And then going in with my year in Aldia spread. So this is a part of the Magical Readathon. I do track these in my Magical Readathon reading journal, complete journal. I don't know what I'd really call that one. But I wanted to track it in my reading journal as well, because I wanted to make sure that I stay a bit more on top of it and don't leave it till the end to complete. So I thought by having it here, having all the prompts listed, it would give me a better idea. At the time of filming this, I don't know what the prompts are. That hasn't been released yet. So I don't know if it's going to be something similar to this year, where it was a more follow a map, or if we'll go back to previous years where it was sort of options. So we'll see, but I've got a box there for every month. And I don't know if that's a good idea or not, because also in previous years, there hasn't been an option for April and September, but last year there was, so we shall see. Anyway, once again, going and trying to find all these months and put them down in the correct spots, and sadly because of how I have the notebook. You can't see the bottom 2 lines. Wait, no, bottom 1 line. That's all it's missing. Like, how many months are in a year? But that's okay. All in all, this entire spread took me 11 minutes and 45 seconds to set up, so not too bad. And then next, I'm going in with my A to Z challenge. This is a new one for me this year. I have been doing the A to Z challenge for her kid and have been really enjoying it, so I wanted to extend it and kind of redo it for 2026. So for this, I'm going to do it in 2 ways. I'm going to do it for author names and then also for book title names. I'm not worrying about doubling up between the 2 of these. It's whatever book comes first for that letter. So if it fits Herkit or not, because I've used it for other things, that doesn't matter. It's purely for this journal, and it's going to be outside of my A to Z challenge for Herkit. This one, I also changed my mind on how I wanted to set it up. Originally, I was going to do all of the letters down sort of the middle and have the titles for like the author and the book title on each side of it, so that I only needed 1 set of alphabet stickers. But then I changed my mind and wanted to have 1 on each page. So once again, going in with the list of things that I still need to print, I need to print a second set of alphabet. So I've now finished an extra page of what I need to print. So my plan worked. By giving myself the grace of not printing everything, when I do print the rest of it, I now have a full page of including the things I've forgotten. And just going in, making sure that we've sort of got even spacing for the alphabet. I did pre-think about how I wanted to decorate this page, and that's why I have the alphabet sort of going down each column, gradually getting longer and longer, because I knew that I wanted to put some some paper offcuts in the corners. So I was just sort of mapping out first how much space that the alphabet took up, and then I'd go in and create the shapes for the paper. But yeah, I was good and sort of thought about this a little bit ahead of time. So now that I've got the guide of where to rip, I can go in and do that. And I put down that side, and then I can use that as a rough estimate for the other side. So I do go in and just put the paper down on the other side because it's easy enough to work out the spacing. I just do the opposite. I flip it. So yes, I am looking forward to this and just having fun with it. I definitely predict that there are going to be letters that are going to be harder than the others, although I have been spotting some X's for author names. So that's good. I just need to get around to reading those books, and I don't know how I'm going to go with the titles because that's a tricky one. Anyway, all in all, this took me 13 minutes and 25 seconds to set up, so it wasn't too bad. Obviously, I have half the amount of letters that I actually need, so I am going to spend a little bit longer going in with the other half, but that wasn't on camera, so it doesn't count. Okay, flipping on over. And the next spread I'm going to set up is my fantasy bingo. So I have been enjoying doing the Our Fantasy Bingo Challenge this year. However, it does run out in April. So I wanted a way that I could track my reads for the first 4 months of the year, but then also have room for the next challenge that came out. So my thoughts were that I would create the 2 bingo boards and have one be the 2025 one and one be the 2026 one. I'm going to very tinily write the prompts in the boxes, and then I go in and write 1 to 25 down the side, and that's where I'm going to put in the book title that I read for those prompts. So I'll see how I go with it. It also means that I will be able to see how well I do because I will have a title listed there as well as colouring in the box, and I can hopefully at least get a bingo. That is my goal for 2025. And then 2026, I want to be a little bit more active in following what's on it. Or I may just not have such a definitive TBR and just make sure that I'm reading from the prompts, I guess. I don't know. I'll see how I feel at the time. But that is that page done, and that took me 6 minutes to set up. And now moving on to my romantasy bingo. So this is created by Covers with Cassidy, and it's running from November to, so the 1st of November to the 31st of October. So because it's running most of the year, I just decided to do the one spread and giving myself enough room that I can put the actual book in. So I'm going to be able to put the book cover in and then just write the prompt underneath it is my current plans. So hopefully there will be a bingo of book covers shown by the end of the year on this one. And yeah, I had fun. I didn't really do too much decoration on these ones just because they took up quite a decent amount of room, and I think once you start getting the covers for the romantasy as well as all the text for both of them, it will look full, and then I can just go in with some smaller decorative bits as I'm using the pages throughout the year, rather than putting it all in now and then not having enough space for everything that I need. So they're kind of my thoughts. And that's all done. The romantasy bingo took me 6.5 minutes to set up, so not too bad as well. And just putting in the header, and then we are moving on to my last page that I set up, and that's a nice easy Kindle TBR page. So I have a Kindle Unlimited account. I like using my Kindle Unlimited. There are a lot more books that are being added to Kindle Unlimited, and I just forget about them a lot. And people will talk about different Kindle Unlimited books and things that are really good, and I forget. So I wanted to have a spot where I can write down recommendations that are on Kindle Unlimited and then slowly go in and check them all off, because unfortunately, like, as much as I have been trying to also add them to like a wish list on there, you can only have, I think it's 20 books on Kindle Unlimited at any one time. So if I haven't read all of my 20 and I can't replace it with something, then I kind of forget about the book. So hopefully having a list here will help. And it was a good way to use up that last awkward page too before I start my monthly setups. So yeah, I needed something that would only take one page, and this was it. Anyway, just going in and creating a every second highlight and a column for checking off the book once I've read it, and then going in with the header. So just staying with the middle one and then working my way out from there just to somewhat get some spacing. And then I flip on back through and go in with a little bit more decoration, because I have all these stickers and I could have done it while I was going, but I thought it'd be easier just to go back in at the end to decorate a bit more and work out where I had space, really. I wanted to make sure that things didn't look too cluttered, but also that they weren't too empty. So doing it at the end helps with that, and you can sort of see where you've got spaces. So definitely wanted to go in and put some more stuff down on the 2026 intentions page, because there is quite a lot of room there. And this pre-cut washi tape from Paper Monetary had some little like quote stickers and everything on their sheets, as well as lots of little stars and everything. So I will definitely go back and add more in places, but I was also mindful that I didn't want to keep going and overload the pages. So I did get to a spot where I just stepped back and stopped before I crowded everything. And I don't know why I put a key down for this one. For some reason, I thought I had to have a key on that page, and I've since realized that I didn't, and I don't know why I thought I did, but I do eventually go back and take it up, but not on camera. So going in with more stars, just adding elements to each page as I sort of see fit, putting in candles and different other things, different instruments that are on these pages. It's a good mix of sizes of stickers on these pages, so I do recommend the Paper Monetary books, and not books, they're stickers, and it was actually quite reasonably priced considering I had to get it shipped to Australia, which is always an issue with things. Like, there are some companies that I would love to support, but when I work out how much it's going to be to ship it here, it essentially doubles the cost, and I can't justify it. So, shipping, I think I might have even spent enough that it was free, or I got it on a sale where there was free shipping. So it worked out really well. And I did get another set that was more of a galaxy vibe, which I absolutely love. So I will probably use that for one of my months coming up as the theme. So stay tuned for that. But just going in, adding a little bit to each page. I love that they include things like these paper cutouts and everything. It just ties in with everything else so well. And it's a nice element to have on the I think they were also on the sticker pages, but they were also on the PET tape rolls as well. So, yeah, had lots of fun with all this and just kept going through all the pages. I didn't add anything too much to the author backlist because I wanted to make sure I had space. Series tracker, I did put down a large piano in that corner that you can't see, unfortunately. I kind of regret it because it is taking up some space that I might need for some series, but at the same time, I think I'm just going to commit to adding tip-ins everywhere in this one. I didn't add any into my 2025 reading journal, so 2026 is looking like the year of the tip-ins. So, good fun. But just going in and cleaning up all those edges and, yeah, getting rid of the excess washi tape. It's like the most annoying thing about washi tape is just all those little things to trim it and clean it all up. So, yeah, each of the corners. Sometimes I was good about cleaning up as I went, and other times not so much. As you can see, towards the end, definitely not so much. I just left it all. And then they were getting stuck to each other, so. But that's okay. It's all clean now. And going in with a few more elements before wrapping up. I really did like this. I was just framing the fantasy one. I thought it was appropriate for fantasy, and it framed it so well. Then romantasy, I sort of went with more musical element to it. And yeah. So that is it for my reading journal for 2026. I had such a fun time setting it up, and I'm going to really enjoy using it. So now we're just doing a flip through of all the pages, starting with the cover page. I love how this turned out. I'm so happy with it. And all in all, I am really happy with how this journal turned out. Yes, there are a few things that I wish I thought about a little bit harder before implementing, but it's not the end of the world, and there are ways to fix things, and as long as I enjoy using the journal, that's all that matters really. And I just want to enjoy my reads for 2026 and document them. So stay tuned to see all of my reading updates and my journal updates. And thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it, and I hope you got some inspo for your reading journal. Let me know if you've got a reading journal, and if you're posting a video, I'd love to check it out. And I will see you all next time. Bye!